wapi Yesu? Angalie watu hawa wananiua baba. Baba yangu umeniacha. Wauaji Yesu. Yesu.
Sisi si wauaji, tumekuja kukuokoa mama.
Unanichoma.
Hatukuchomi, tunakupeleka hospitali.
Unanichoma na jua. Unaniachilia jua.
Wacha Yesu atakuokoa, lakini Yesu wa ukweli si huyu kiongozi wenu anaitwa Mackenzie.
The sharp and loud cries of an old woman was ready to die of hunger because this was a straight ticket to go meet the Messiah in heaven. This according to her pastor Paul Mackenzie, he of the Good News International Church. Mackenzie's alleged indoctrination had put a quiet and lazy Shakahola village in Kilifi County to a global map. It was on 13th April 2023 when one Karume Fondo reported to Malindi police station that there were ignorant citizens who were starving to death. He further alleged that there was a mass shallow grave in an identified place at Shakahola forest within Langobaya in Malindi sub-county, an account that was also corroborated by a herder we found on site.
Na hata serikali yenyewe kupitia wakubwa wake wa Malindi wamehakikisha ya kwamba kilio chetu sisi kama kilio changu kama sisi wananchi wa Malindi na Shakahola kilikuwa ni ukweli. Maana tumeonyesha makaburi na hata mbali na hivyo tumeokoa mwanamke ambaye alikuwa amebakisha masaa machache ili aweze kuaga dunia.
On 14th April 2023, a contingent of police officers visited the scene and managed to rescue 15 people, among them 6 who were emaciated and in critical condition. 4 died while in hospital.
Hawafanyi mambo ya mashamba, wamegomea kula kwa maana waliambiwa Yesu yu karibu kuja. Yesu hakutuambia akiwa karibu kuja tukatae kula.
So nataka nimuulize gavana wangu kwa heshima, kwa unyenyekevu. Mheshimiwa, jitokeze, watu wako wanaisha kwa ajili ya huyu jamaa, kuwapa imani ambazo ni potofu.
The information at hand is that there are more people who are believed to be in the bush, and we are still in the course of investigations to go and see, to verify.
Exhumations, the forensic team has been able to exhume 11 bodies, and also we were able to collect 1 body from the forest, so today's total comes to 12.
Former pastor Paul Mackenzie Nthenge radicalized his followers with a tough doctrine before folding his Good News International Church in 2019, insisting that he had completed the evangelism duties he was assigned by God. It is alleged that he instructed his former followers to go without food or water to supposedly save them from an imminent, painful death in the world. This also enraged the political class.
Tunaweza kupata zile tunaita aerial drones ama helicopter, zile ambazo zinakuja zinaweza kuruka chini kabisa, zikaweza kuona ni nini kinajiri pale chini, itakuwa afueni, kwa sababu tunasikia ya kwamba hawa wahalifu ama hawa ma-terrorists wako huko ndani na wanaendelea na hizo activities.
Lazima tukue waangalifu zaidi, na hata wananchi wa hapa, nimeongea na vijana hapa waziri, ambao wengi wao wengine walikuwa wanajua vitu vidogo vidogo, lakini hawakuweza kutoa.
That so many people could walk away from their homes, stay away for so long, starve and die without anyone noticing or reporting something amiss, demands an urgent public inquiry.
There is no difference between Mr. Mackenzie, who pretends and postures as a pastor, when in fact he is a terrible criminal.
Previously, Mackenzie had been arrested on similar accusations but released due to lack of evidence. His arrest brought to the fore more revelations about his operations, and some of his targets who included an air hostess, Beatrice Agenta.
Kupigia simu ikaita lakini hakuwa mtu anashika. kuna namba ya babake. Nikampigia babake. Akaniambia, Cecilia, Betty ameenda town na mami lakini simu ameiacha nyumbani. Akaniuliza kuna shida, nikamwambia hapana, kuna mtu yamtafuta. Akija mwambie aingie online. That was on Tuesday. On Wednesday, simu kwa ni mteja. Haikuni ring ati maybe something is wrong or anything. Lakini sana kuna kuna ile worry tu. Betty si kawaida yake kuzima simu. Ni mtu ambaye yapenda simu. At any given time hata ukampigia simu utampata tu atarespond. Alafu si yule mtu ambaye yuweza neglect message ati there's someone who is looking for you, can you reach out? So I also sent messages but sikupata response.
When he appeared before the court, he plus his wife and the co-accused denied subjecting people to fast to death, saying that he closed down his church and abandoned preaching.
Today we are on day 10. So if they are given another 4 days, will the respondents be eating? Your Honor, most likely they are not going to be eating. So that our fear is when we come here, what will we be coming to do? Will we have respondents in the first place?
And I pray to the same effect that you find the lack of planning by the prosecution cannot be allowed to constitute an emergency on our side.
Would the court grant application in the event they're taken to any police station, out of Malindi police station? Yesterday they stayed without food. They starved the whole day. Can Mr. Jami, as you respond, please assure us that they get some food? These are human beings, they're not rats. Even rats fed some food, please. Water, some maragwe kidogo. Don't ask you for chicken or some biryani.
As he was being held at Shimolatewa prison, detectives officially kicked off exhumation of bodies of all of his alleged followers on 21st April 2023. The detectives from the Homicide Department in Nairobi identified and mapped at least 58 graves at the expansive farm.
Mambo ya kufukua mili, waliweza kufukua mili 5 siku ya leo. Na pia wale ambao wanaendelea kuja na kujiandikisha nasi kwamba wamepoteza ama wanawatafuta ndugu zao, wameweza kufika 594. Wameweza kufika 594. Wale ambao wameweza kuunganishwa na familia zao bado ni 14. Wale ambao tumewakamata na wako nasi kuendelea kutusaidia na wamepelekwa kotini ni 25.
It was a beehive of activities both at the forest and at Malindi Hospital, where family members also presented themselves to report on their missing kin.
Tumefanya search ya hizo makaburi, tumejaribu kukava some na operation inaendelea mzuri. So nashukuru sana. Nilitamani sana siku kama hii ya leo ifike. So kwangu mimi sasa ni furaha ya ajabu kwa sababu naamini kabisa mwishowe haki ya hawa watu wenye wamekufa huku itaweza kupatikana.
Namtafuta mamangu na ndugu zangu 3. Walikuja huko mwaka juzi. Lakini sasa nilikuwa nikijaribu kuwatafuta niseme sasa nataka kujua wako wapi, hawako wanataka nijue mahali wako. Na kufikia saa hii tumewatafuta, hatujawapata bado.
This was happening, the government upped their efforts to cast their net wide. On 27th April 2023, they arrested the famous televangelist, Pastor Ezekiel Odero of the New Life Prayer Center Church in Kilifi, while preparing to head to Dodoma in Tanzania for a major crusade. The battery of lawyers led by Danstan Omari flew into Mombasa the following day, trying to distance the pastor from the alleged 15 deaths that happened in his church. Back and forth between his lawyers and the state in the corridors of justice took all the headlines, although he was later absolved.
To ask that you authorize a detention before trial and before a judge. That is, they're asking you to kind of suspend a right that is provided for and protected under the Bill of Rights. The right to liberty. Your Honor, we concede that a right to liberty can be interfered with if there is reason, and that is good reason.
Mahakama Kuu ya Mombasa imedhibitisha kwa mara ya mwisho na kwa kila Mkenya kujua kwamba kanisa la Pastor Ezekiel halitafungwa tena wala kuingiliwa na taratibu zake. Kumbuka tulikuwa tumepata zile order za dharura ambazo zilikuwa ni temporal mpaka leo. Kwa hivyo leo mahakama imeidhinisha kwamba kanisa limefunguliwa.
To make a decision on that, but the court has already made a decision on one of the prayers that we had asked for, and that is about the issue of the church. The state has agreed that the church is not closed. They are not going to interfere with anything to do with the activities of the church, including the prayers and the functions of the church that are going to go on this week until Sunday, when they call it Messiah Bwana. So on that issue, they have said the officers who will be present at that particular place will be there to provide security and nothing more than that. On the other issues regarding the television, the court is also going to make a decision on it. We are not going to preempt, but I can say very clearly that the Communication Authority of Kenya did not present any person or did not bring any affidavit or any application or anything to rebut what we had said.
On 1st May 2023, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki officially launched the post-mortem exercise of the bodies that were exhumed at Shakahola bushes.
We believe, other than the additional graves that we have evidence and we have data showing that there are more graves there, we also believe there are more people, more victims who are holed up in that forest. And our experience in the last 2-3 weeks has shown some of the victims are attempting to escape from both the Mackenzie land, the so-called Mackenzie land, and also from Chakama Ranch generally. And we have been able to intercept some of them and rescue them as they headed to other areas.
On May 16th, the media and members of the Seafood Society were banned from accessing the forest. This after dawn to dusk curfew was announced to give room for more exhumation.
Lendal, you are the ones who exposed the Shakahola. The first people to bring it out was the media. And I've called my friend, the Minister for Security, that please don't block the media from going to Shakahola.
The opposition led by Raila Odinga was also turned away as they moved to the forest to unravel what had transpired and bashed the government for laxity.
Watu wakastavishwa hapa, wakakosa chakula na maji. Wakafa wakazikwa, hamkusema. Leo viongozi tumekuja, mnatukataza kuona yale makaburi yalifukuliwa watu wetu. Ni nini mnaficha katika Shakahola?
Mtu ambaye anaheshimika, mtu ambaye ana command watu wengi zaidi hapa ndani ya Kenya. Sielewi ni kwa sababu gani Baba Raila Amolo Odinga amekatazwa kuenda kuangalia kule katika pale ambapo mili imezikwa.
Askari ambaye anahusika hapa anaongea kwa njia ambayo hakuna heshima hata kidogo. Ati anahusika, ana amri tusiingie. Nikamuuliza sheria gani hiyo? Anasema kuna sheria ambayo imewekwa ati hapa sasa imetangazwa ni mbali ambayo ni kuna hali ya hatari. Alafu nikamwambia basi piga simu kwa mkubwa yako, iwe ni Inspector General au waziri. Yeye mwenyewe akatoroka.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, detectives continued to net more suspects, and a total of 96 of them had been arrested, but formally not charged, as the prosecution continued to seek for more time to wind the investigations. A Senate probe committee on the massacre was also formed. The Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana-led committee met with the local religious organizations to investigate the role played by Mackenzie, his pastoral team, and the Kilifi County Security Committee in aiding and abetting the deaths of the church's followers.
Jaribu vile tutakavyoweza kujua ukweli wa mambo haya. Hawa watu waliokufa hawakufa bure. Kuna kitu ambacho kimefanyika hapa Kilifi, Shakahola, na tunataka kujua ukweli wa mambo ni wapi.
The committee's mandate was to establish registration status of religious organizations and mitigation measures taken and regulations, if any, to manage and control religious entities. The committee also made recommendations that will prevent religious organizations from extreme indoctrination of their followers, including radicalization, spiritual and financial exploitation.
We cannot let this thing go the way it is. The things cannot be the way they are. We cannot say that life must go on after the deaths of over 235 and still counting of our people.
On 19th October 2023, the committee recommended that cult leader Mackenzie's teachings deleted from the internet by the Communication Authority. According to Chief,
kuna mochari, twende tukaangalie hiyo mochari. Kuna makaburi, twende tukaangalie makaburi. Tunataka kujua uhusiano na huyu ambaye tunamshuku ni namna gani, na tumeona hapa hata restaurant. Kwa hivyo mambo yale mengine tulikuwa tuambia watu waombe paka wafe hayapo hapa.
According to Chief Government Pathologist Johansen Oduor, the level of deterioration of the bodies was proving a headache in determining the cause of death. On 10th November 2023, Mackenzie got a major blow on a separate case after Malindi Court found him guilty of broadcasting films and operating studio without Kenya Films Classification Board license to the public.
We are aware that Your Honor is not bound by the report. The report is supposed to be used as a guide for Your Honor's exercising your discretion and applying the principles of sentencing.
In light of the foregoing, in respect to count 2, I hereby sentence the accused person to 12 months imprisonment, while in respect to count 3, the accused person's explanation of not knowing the need for a license from the Film Classification Board, having obtained a broadcasting one, is a reasonable, though not entirely acceptable, as ignorance of the law is no defense, hence the resulting conviction. And in light of the same, I sentence the accused to 6 months imprisonment. The sentences shall run concurrently. Right of appeal, 14 days.
According to the prosecution, victims are at various rescue centers. The 96 suspects are in custody, pending a ruling on the extension application, simultaneous with the review of their case files and decision to charge. The ODPP says all will be charged with various offences, the gravest being murder.
Also the responsibility and duty of this court to ensure that their rights are not impeded upon.
But as this continues, Kenyans are still waiting for answers, if not 2023, 2024.